Welcome to the Morning Edition Extra. I'm Adelmi Ruiz, coming to you from the digital desk at Alaska's News Source. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining me for the Morning Edition Extra. Getting started, our top story on Thursday, a federal judge in Maryland ordered the immediate release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia from ICE custody. At Alaska's News Source, Washington correspondent Stetson Miller has more.
A federal judge says Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been detained illegally and is now ordering his immediate release. U.S. District Court Judge Paula Zinnes said Thursday that ICE must immediately release Abrego Garcia from custody because there was no removal order for him and therefore is, quote, entitled to release. Abrego Garcia's immigration case rose to prominence after being mistakenly deported to El Salvador earlier this year and has become a focal point for critics of President Trump's immigration crackdown. When he was returned to the United States, he was detained again by immigration officials. ICE has been trying to deport him to countries in Africa since then, but he's lodged a legal challenge against those efforts. After the order was issued, Assistant Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security Tricia McLaughlin wrote on X that the order was, quote, naked judicial activism by an Obama-appointed judge. The order lacks any valid legal basis, and we will continue to fight this tooth and nail in the courts. In Washington, I'm Stetson Miller.
Half a dozen people are injured after a massive gas main explosion in broad daylight right in the middle of a busy neighborhood, and it was all caught on a neighbor's Ring doorbell camera. The force ripping through multiple structures, sparking a 3-alarm fire, damaging nearby homes, injuring 6 people, rushed to area hospitals. Officials say that 2 people believed to be residents are unaccounted for currently. Fire officials say the blast was ultimately triggered after a work crew struck an underground gas line shortly after 7 last morning. While the gas in the area was shut off, the explosion still occurred shortly after. The root of what happened is still under investigation. And a very disturbing story out of Pennsylvania. 2 women were killed in a brutal attack, a machete attack in Scranton Tuesday night. Another was hospitalized in critical condition, and the suspect was arrested and is facing multiple charges. Joe Cowitt reports.
Police in Scranton say they are still digging into a machete attack at the German apartments on Biden Street Tuesday night that left 2 women and a service dog dead and a 3rd woman critically wounded in the hospital.
The vast majority of this incident, the vast majority, is all on video surveillance, and it is horrific to watch. The offender and victims were residents of the German hotel, and the motive and reasons for his actions remain under further investigation.
The suspect, 38-year-old Michael Woods, who police say is a native of Jersey, alleged motive remains unknown. Newswatch 16 reviewed public filings in Pennsylvania and New Jersey and found no criminal case. Police in Scranton say they are still digging into a machete attack at the German apartments on Biden Street Tuesday night that left 2 women and a service dog dead and a 3rd woman critically wounded in the hospital.
The vast majority of this incident, the vast majority, is all on video surveillance, and it is horrific to watch. The offender and victims were residents of the German hotel, and the motive and reasons for his actions remain under further investigation.
The suspect, 38-year-old Michael Woods, who police say is a native of Jersey City, New Jersey, who relocated here 5 years ago. He's lived in the German apartments for the last few years. Police say they caught Woods leaving the apartment building wearing bloody clothing and clutching a bloody machete, a weapon they say security cameras captured him using on 3 women and a dog in the building's 6th-floor hallway. A fast capture honed by training.
We do have an extensive program for an active threat situation, and that's what we responded to yesterday. And It validates our training. Yesterday's response validates our training.
But Wood's alleged motive remains unknown. Newswatch 16 reviewed public filings in Pennsylvania and New Jersey and found no criminal cases connected to Woods. And it is unclear if Woods has any connection to the woman he's accused of attacking, save for the fact that they live in the same building. Woods told the police he smoked PCP, a powerful dissociative sometimes called angel dust, earlier in the day, but Gallagher said it was unconfirmed as of right now.
Yeah, as it relates to that, Joe, that's under current investigation. We don't know that right now. We'll have some answers as we move forward for you, but I don't want to speculate as to any type of drug or mental health defense or anything like that.
Meanwhile, outside the building on Wednesday, Newswatch 16 found residents going about their day and one moving out. The night's horrors on everyone's minds.
Part of life. That's how it is today. It's sad to say it, that was unexcusable.
Eric Zimmerman started moving out last week and stopped by to grab the last of his stuff. He's glad he wasn't here Tuesday night.
Nice people. That's why I haven't found out if I know. I probably do know the gentleman, but it's like nice older people, veterans, just your regular type people. It's a nice, quiet place. It's a nice place, so it's pretty shocking.
Michael Woods remains locked up at the Lackawanna County Prison without bail. He's due back in court for a preliminary hearing on December 23rd. He does not, as far as we can tell, have an attorney. Police and
Multiple areas across western Washington are under evacuation orders as catastrophic flooding hits rivers across the region. In Skagit County, officials have ordered go-now evacuations for the entire 100-year floodplain of the Skagit River Valley. According to the National Weather Service, the river flooding in parts of the region is expected to be catastrophic. A flash flood watch remains in effect through late Friday for a potential levee failure of the Skagit River below Sedro-Woolley. Flood warnings are also still in effect for residents in Puyallup living along the river. They have been advised to prepare for possible evacuation.
Am I going to put forward a income tax?
And to Alaska news. Alaska-specific news. In Capitol coverage, Governor Mike Dunleavy announced a $12.1 billion budget plan for 2027. The proposal calls for full statutory funding for K-12 education, more support for public safety, and a full PFD payment for Alaskans. That payment would total $3,650 per person, which would be the largest PFD in state history. The governor says he will formally introduce his fiscal plan when lawmakers return in January. In a video he released, he said a key piece of the unfinished plan will be diversifying Alaska revenue as oil prices remain low and continue to affect state funds.
For Alaska, but with oil prices in the low The future is bright for Alaska, but with oil prices in the low $60 barrel range, this year's budget is very tight. As a result, it'll be difficult to fund the many things Alaskans wish to have in the budget. Oil prices are down, costs are up, and many families are feeling the pinch.
You can find a breakdown of the full budget proposal on our website. And now we're going to head on over to meteorologist Aaron Morrison, who's going to give us a breakdown over what our day is going to look like and our weekend as well. Aaron.
Well, good morning, Adelmi, and good morning, Alaska. We're still holding on to some of those windy conditions across the state with some snow moving through the interior and areas of the slope in western Alaska. That's where we're holding on to some blizzard conditions across parts of the state with warnings and advisories that do remain in place across parts of Alaska. 10 below currently in Fairbanks, 7 in McGrath, 28 in Bethel. Along the slope, areas out west, those temperatures in the teens and the 20s, while it's significantly colder across south central and southeast. We've got those that area of low pressure that's sweeping eastward along the slope, driving in some warmer conditions, and those temperatures through the interior will steadily warm today back above 0 degrees for the first time in quite some time. That ridge of high pressure has been flattened, but will build back in across the Bering as we welcome in the weekend. That low to our north will skirt along the coast as we welcome in the remainder of today, which will lead that snow shower staying with us, although gradually tapering off as the week draws to a close. Still gusty winds as you head out west and through northwest Alaska. The Lisburn Peninsula has seen winds up to 70 miles per hour. And then, of course, as you head inland through parts of Norton Sound, the Seward Peninsula out towards the Arctic Plains, those winds have also been gusting anywhere from about 20 to 60 miles per hour. So that is leading to some blowing snow and some blizzard conditions, which is leading to some limited visibility. Now, with those winds driving in, notice temperatures are about 10 to 40 degrees warmer than what we did see this time yesterday across a good portion of the state. With that said, still cold outside, and we are going to see temperatures today staying below zero for many areas of the interior through lunchtime, and then climbing back above zero into the evening hours. So you'll see the warmest stretch of weather today arriving into the evening with about 3 to 4 inches of snowfall expected with some locally heavier amounts. Of course, as you head areas north of the Steese Highway, along the Dalton Highway summits, most of that snow fell through the night, so you'll only see an additional ½ inch with some locally heavier amounts expected for you. Not an overly significant snowfall event, but it will lead to additional snow accumulation and possibly some visibility concerns where we do see that snow being resuspended back into the atmosphere. Looking ahead, as we welcome in Christmas week, continuing to hold on to significantly dry conditions for the southern half of the state, while the slope will likely continue to trend on the wetter side. And of course, one thing we're watching for the interior beyond today is those temperatures, which will take another sharp drop down. Afternoon highs dropping down near -30 as we welcome in next week with overnight lows potentially colder than -40. Meanwhile, here across South Central, still staying on the cold side, but our ridge of high pressure that will build back in across the Bering Sea or build back northward as it has been flat in the past couple of days. But one thing we're going to be watching is gap winds increasing across South Central this weekend and then lasting through at least early next week. The strongest winds will be out towards Valdez, Thompson Pass, and into the valley where 60+ mile-per-hour winds will be expected. Even here in Anchorage, we can expect to see winds up to 50 miles per hour. So not a significant devastating windstorm event that we did see, that multi-day event that occurred from December 5th through the 9th, but this will still bring some impacts to the region. For today, Seward, Whittier, and Valdez, those gap winds will be a concern. And then into our Saturday, we'll see the strongest winds again in the valley arriving late afternoon into the evening hours, so be prepared for that. And those winds will carry us on into early Monday before they do subside. And then, of course, once those subside, we're going to be talking about even colder conditions, which will be possible for parts of South Central as we welcome in next week. The 7-day forecast showing breezy conditions this weekend, and there's those temperatures potentially even colder next week as we drop into the single digits for highs with overnight lows likely dropping below zero. Adelmi?
All right, thank you, Aaron. In Fairbanks, more city buses will soon run on compressed natural gas. The borough says a new grant will advance a long-delayed overhaul of its public transit system. Officials say the project is funded by federal grants secured largely because of the area's serious air quality challenges. While the switch was approved back in 2019, it faced delays due to the pandemic and construction of a new fueling facility. There are currently 3 CNG buses that have been running in the borough since spring. And traditional foods have been hard to come by for those affected by Halong, so the Safari Club International Alaska chapter is hosting a potluck for affected Western Alaskans. In mid-November, the organization took 5 Kipnuk villagers on a deer hunt in Montauk Island and the surrounding area. The hunt was planned to help replace meat that was lost during the former typhoon. Up to 200 people from communities affected by Halong are invited to attend.
They ended up getting 9 total blacktail around Montague Island and adjacent islands. And now we're kind of in the phase of being able to put that together to cook it for the community and then send home some meat of what we have left over.
I just want to say thank you to the whole team that participated in the hunting trip.
Organizers say there will be a visit from Santa, door prizes, and a professional chef to help prepare the wild game. More information on how to RSVP for the event can be found on our website at alaskasnewssource.com. The first day of Chanukah is this Sunday, and the Alaska Jewish Campus is kicking things off with a celebration in downtown Anchorage, known as the Jewish Festival of Lights. Event organizers say goodness, kindness, and connection are the main themes over 8 days and nights. The theme of Sunday celebration at the Egan Center is once again Cirque de Chanukah, and will feature an authentic Israeli chef, an aerial pogo stick show, and a huge inflatable obstacle course for kids.
We have actually menorahs all over Anchorage, giant menorahs. You might see it at the Diamond Mall, the Midtown Mall, the Fifth Avenue Mall, the Ted Stevens International Airport right outside security. So really the idea of Hanukkah is spreading that message of light and of joy. And if you want to get tickets to this amazing party where you can come together with the entire community, every type and stripe, you can go to alaskajewishcampus.org.
Again, that is alaskajewishcampus.org, and it's this Sunday at 5 p.m. at the Egan Center. The Supreme Court will weigh in on the death penalty and intellectual disabilities after a case out of Alabama asked how courts could look at the results of multiple IQ tests taken by a defendant. Washington correspondent Katrin Asaf has more on where the justices stand after oral arguments.
Justices spent 2 hours grilling counsel in the case of Ham v. Smith, at times questioning what exactly lawyers were arguing and what question they were being asked to answer. It all revolves around Joseph Smith, an Alabama man on death row who argues he's intellectually disabled and thus can't be put to death. Multiple IQ tests put him on the threshold for a disability. So now the question before justices is that enough for courts to make the call? Or should other evidence be taken into account? The state of Alabama wants IQ to be the primary factor, instituting a strict cutoff if the median of multiple tests falls above 70.
The words IQ score under 70 does not appear. That's not the standard. I think what you've done is shift this to be all about the IQ test in a way that is not supported by our case law.
But justices fell back on previous capital punishment cases, Moore v. Texas and Hall v. Florida, with some arguing those decisions made it clear additional evidence can not only be allowed, but in some cases required to make a fair and accurate ruling.
The scores alone do it for us. I think a court is definitely allowed to say that after Hall and Moore, as long as they've given a person the opportunity to come in with adaptive evidence.
Representatives for the U.S. Solicitor General and Smith, in their arguments, both seem to acknowledge IQ alone shouldn't be the standard, although they disagreed on how much weight multiple tests should bring when it comes time for a decision. In the end, justices seemed hesitant to implement a new ruling.
You are asking us to tell courts below to do something substantially different than what we told them to do in Hall and Moore.
With a final decision coming sometime next year. In Washington, I'm Katrin Asaf.
It's a gift.
My mic was down, I apologize. U.S. health officials are bracing for what's expected to be a rough respiratory virus season, fueled by holiday travel and a new flu variant. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to a pulmonologist, I hope I said that right, pulmonologist, about how to shield your lungs from severe illness this season.
It's a gift no one wants to give or get. But with travel and get-togethers this holiday season, respiratory viruses can be easily spread, and it's already starting.
I'm actually consulting in my hospital this week, and we're seeing a lot of influenza A here in Connecticut.
Dr. David Hill with the American Lung Association says this winter there's expected to be a surge in cases of flu, COVID-19, and RSV. CDC officials believe this season will be similar to the last, when the agency estimated that that at least 1 million people were hospitalized and more than 70,000 people died from respiratory virus illnesses. Those over the age of 65 are especially at risk from getting severely sick.
The flu and COVID tend to lead to higher hospitalization rates and higher deaths in that population. So getting vaccinated is really important for that group of people.
Of the patients hospitalized for flu last season, the CDC says only about 1/3 were vaccinated. This season, there's a new flu variant. Combined with lagging vaccinations, there's a worry that things may look much worse in the weeks ahead.
Talk to your provider. Try to get vaccinated. It's the best way to protect yourself and your loved ones.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither. It's a gift.
The CDC also recommends that all people use everyday prevention strategies to help reduce the risk of getting sick. That includes hand washing regularly and cleaning commonly touched surfaces. And if you do get sick, help stop the spread by staying home and staying away from people. Looking at and checking your phone can be addictive. The makers of this product claim their lockbox is the key to cutting down on screen time. Our correspondent Rachel Hackbarth puts it to the test in this week's Does It Work?
Could a small plastic lockbox be the key to cutting down on how much time you spend on your phone? Mark East is helping us test out this $33.99 Amazon find. He admits he's skeptical, especially if this is bought by a parent trying to keep their kids away from their phone.
They wanted to steal this, they could definitely steal this with that in it.
Right. So that's your thought. You're kind of like, what the heck is this for?
Yeah. Now, if this was screwed to the wall and it was secured to the wall, I get it.
The Habit Control has this built-in timer. You can set it to anything from a minute to 24 hours. Another feature, your phone charges in this portable safe.
Open the lid, put your mobile phone inside, close the lid, press R, set and lock button to start the timer. You can set for how long you're gonna, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you can set however long you want, and then it'll go inside and then it will open at that time.
Do you want to just set it for like a minute?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Okay.
Opening the Habit Control safe is simple. Setting the timer is another story.
Oh, this is what they're saying is R.
Okay.
Okay, so press.
Let's go for 1 minute. It says 1 minute right here.
Okay.
And it's blinking.
Those instructions aren't the only part of this test confusing Mark.
The purpose is more confusing to me. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
But the timer is counting down and it is locking away the phone. Mark thinks his product does what it claimed, but not enough for him to spend nearly $40.
I could do the same thing really with a sack.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
For Does It Work, I'm Rachel Hackbarth. Could a small plastic lockbox be the key to cutting down on how much time you spend on your phone?
My mic was down, I apologize. Well, while online shopping is dominating the holidays, more and more people are also turning to artificial intelligence for gift ideas. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Rachel DePompa looks at how AI and social media algorithms are influencing shoppers and what you buy.
Our social media feeds are filled right now with influencers putting out their gift guides and ads showing you products you must have under your tree this year. Dana Edens with Consumer Affairs says all of it often makes you feel like you actually need to spend more money. She says if you need to, start muting those accounts or even unfollowing them.
If they're tempting you to overspend, try limiting some screen time or anything that's going to get you off of that and get you back into reality. And maybe you need to say, hey, I'm not going to follow this person right now because, they're leading me down a path that I really can't go.
Something new this year, Eden says artificial intelligence or AI is the new Santa's helper. A new survey by Consumer Affairs found 1 in 4 shoppers say they're going to use ChatGPT for inspiration to help them come up with gift ideas. While it may help you think of a gift idea for your 13-year-old cousin, Eden says it does take a little away from the holiday spirit.
But I do think it outsources your creative part of gift giving. That's kind of part of the season, is you're supposed to be joyful, you're supposed to be generous. This made me think of you. And what does that say when we're having a program come up with that for us?
Eden says they also found 37% of people are turning to social media platforms for inspiration. She says it's okay to test out AI and ask for gift ideas or scroll through your social media to find them. But there's still something to be said for seeing something on a shelf or circling things in a catalog that just adds to that Christmas nostalgia. And there's no price tag on that feeling. With this watch in your wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Film director Carl Rinch was convicted of defrauding Netflix of $11 million. Rinch was charged with wire fraud, money laundering, and making illegal transactions. Prosecutors say he misused production funds for the never-finished series White Horse. They argued he did his motives for obtaining the money and went on a lavish spending spree. Rinch testified the purchases were legitimate and tied to season 2 planning, but Netflix said it had not ordered a second season, and the first was far from complete. His sentencing is set for April. Disney and OpenAI are teaming up. The Walt Disney Company has reached a 3-year agreement to license hundreds of iconic Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars characters to OpenAI's Sora platform, which creates short videos using artificial intelligence. As part of the deal, Disney says it's making a $1 billion equity investment in OpenAI, with plans to deploy ChatGPT for its employees and use AI tech to develop new products. Sometimes you just need that warm smile, the gentle advice of a grandmother who has so much life experience and love. And that's exactly what you can get at this grandma stand in McKinney, Texas. Grandma Nancy is one of 3 women who staff the booth and provide a warm smile, a listening ear, and some free advice with no appointments needed. The concept got its start far away from Texas in New York City. It was created in 2012 by a man who set up a booth for people to talk to his then 95-year-old grandmother, who has since passed away. Now the project has grown to several cities with even more grandma stands planned. Well, Christmas came a little early to patients at Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital in Baltimore. Santa Claus himself surprised patients at the hospital with gifts and cheer this week. Rudolph and the rest of his reindeer didn't make the trip. Instead, Santa touched down by helicopter. The team at Hopkins say they look forward to this every year as they can bring some holiday cheer to those who may need it the most. Well, we're wrapping up the Morning Edition Extra on the good side. It's a Yuletide classic, the Nutcracker. We've all seen it. We've seen the ballets, we've seen the Barbie movies, we've seen the Nutcracker, and we've heard the music. But Alaska's news sources, Carla Salinas, shows us an adaptation with a twist in Las Vegas.
In the traditional Nutcracker recital that we all know and love, it's all about the classical music and the ballet. But here at the Nutcracker with a Latin twist, it's all about the salsa and adding that unique sazon to a holiday favorite.
For decades, the Nutcracker Ballet Show has meant tutus, toy soldiers, and a very classical Christmas party. But here at Jordan Studios, it's about ballet, but the party has moved to a 1970s Latin living room in Las Vegas. In Nutcracker with the Latin twist, Clara even goes by a new name, Clarita, and her dream world comes to life with salsa steps.
I am Clara. I'm the one in the dream. It's really fun. Like in party scene, I get to wear salsa shoes and like dance very sassy, and it's like very fun.
The show's a family affair. Co-director Jimmy Jordan grew up around his mother-in-law's classical Nutcracker, and then he and his wife brought their professional salsa careers into the mix.
Go from here to here.
Ballet has its vibe, it's very elegant, and salsa just kind of brings a little bit of that spice, so people really like it.
They tell me the goal isn't to throw out tradition, it's to reimagine it through a Latin lens.
Come and see something, just a little twist. And ballet, classical ballet, elegant, with a touch of the Latin twist that is very elegant. We take care so much that part.
For this mother-daughter team, it's also about reflecting the community around them. In a city where many families grew up with salsa at home, they want that same energy on stage.
In salsa, you don't talk, but you communicate so much with other people, and you exchange so much energy, and that's what I want to share to the community.
Well, that wraps up the Morning Edition Extra for this Friday morning. Thank you so much for joining me for this edition of the Morning Edition Extra. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you again on Monday for another one. Thank you so much. Have a good one.